All right, we're good to go. Thank you, Tyler. All right. Good evening, everyone. I see the time is 5:30. It's Monday, March 16th. I'll call this meeting of the Carson Hot Springs Village Council to order. I'd like to acknowledge that our meeting tonight takes place on the traditional terrace tables. There's no public hearing tonight. Are there any late items to introduce to our agenda tonight? Seeing none, I'll move to item 5 on the agenda, which is approval of the agenda. Could I have a motion that moved by Councillor Vital, seconded by Councillor Jackson? Thank you. Discussion on that motion. Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Our agenda is approved. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest this evening? Seeing none, I'll move to item 7 on the agenda, which is adoption of council minutes. Could I have a motion?
So moved, Your Worship.
Moved by Councillor Faccio, seconded by Councillor Vital. Discussion on that one. Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? And those minutes are adopted. Item 8, is there any business arising out of those minutes this evening? I don't see any business arising out of those minutes. Item 9 is delegations and petitions. We don't have any this evening, so we'll move to item 10, which is correspondence. I have a motion to receive the correspondence listed as A to D.
So moved
by Councillor Schweinman, seconded by Councillor Jackson. Discussion on the motion to receive the correspondence. Councillor Jackson. Oh, I'm sorry, you lifted your hand. Is there something you wanted to say? Oh, just okay. I will. Okay, I'll call. Seeing no discussion on the motion, I'll call the vote. All in favor of receiving the correspondence? It's received. All right. Business arising from the correspondence. Item 11. Councillor Jackson, I saw your hand earlier, so.
I'll defer to anybody else right now.
Defer to anyone else right now, Councillor Faccio.
Thank you, Your Worship. Page 11, the letter from the forestry request. I would suggest that at some point they're asked to come as a delegation to speak to the village on that. It would be appropriate. I think probably several questions that might want to be asked of these people.
Yeah, I've noted this correspondence with interest as well.
Yeah.
Forestry is the solution, and BC Council of Forest Industries. I'd be interested to hear from I know we did get some correspondence, I think, from the forest, the other one,
BCTS.
Thank you. BC Timber Sales. And we're trying to sift through some information they gave, but I would be appreciative to hear from these folks as well. Staff, does anyone know if the BC Forest Industries, this council, has staff that would be able to come out and make a presentation about forestry in our sector and the ongoing questions we have?
I believe so. As far as I know, I'm not too familiar with the organization, but we can reach out if council wishes and see if they would like to come as a delegation.
Councillor Faccio, maybe a motion?
I'll make a motion that we send out an invitation for them to come as a delegation.
And I'll second that happily. I think if we do invite them, I think it'd be nice if we had some questions. If any council has questions for forest industries that they would like them to respond to, that we should get them to staff when they send out the invitations so they can come prepared as well. So I put that off for them. Councillor Schweinman.
Well, I read this as well, and respectfully, this is a lobby group. Page 2 of their letter, if I can draw your attention. Under request for action, they have speed up access to economic wood. Mayor Talon, I would suggest that's just code for open up more old growth forest. Number 2, improve competitiveness and cost certainty. And again, Mayor Talon, I would suggest that's code for cut staff and environmental red tape. 6, BC Timber Sales is like asking the managers who have gotten us into all this trouble and all this mess to try and fix it for us. The reality is the industry is built on trying to make cheap dimensional lumber 2x4s for the American market. Doesn't place any value on the kind of timber that we have and the kind of potential that we have. Number 4, support First Nations partnership. That really is also code for open up more land and help the First Nations try to take more timber out of this. The reality is this lobby group, is trying to confuse the situation. They're trying to draw at our heartstrings to protect jobs when what really needs to be done is to create more value in the industry. They claim that they want to open up more mills. The fact is mills are closing. The lobby group is involved in some of the largest companies in British Columbia. The mills are closing. Our timber is being cut and shipped out to add value. And I'm happy to have them here, but frankly, for me, it wouldn't be very pretty to tell you the truth. The reality is our forests aren't being valued for the community benefits that they can provide. And this lobby group, I think, is really just wants to cut red tape and get access to more logs. I would have no interest in listening to it.
I see. Anyone else? There's a motion to invite them, and if we have questions for them, then we can send them with the invitation. They may decline, but I would like to be able to ask them because I don't have the depth of knowledge you do, Councillor Schweinbans, on the forest industry and what this might mean. So I'm still inclined to invite them and see if they show up. So if there's no further discussion on the motion, I'll put it to sorry, Councillor Schweinbans.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't want to waste too much of staff time. The reality is we aren't getting the kind of answers and engagement we want from BCTS. I think we need to put our focus in on that. I just think this is going to confuse the situation. And I think we need to focus on what's important to us, and that is protecting our local environment. Mount Woodside, Mount Agassiz, Green Mountain is under attack. Slowly but surely it's being clear cut, and we're getting the downstream effects, the silting, the flooding, the fire risks. I think we need to put our attention towards that.
Thank you. Councillor Patchett.
Thank you, Lord. Several comments that Councillor Schweinbans makes are questions that we could ask these people.
Yeah, I don't.
I see no reason why the questions he's coming up with we could not ask them because forestry is one of the main industries in British Columbia. There's no getting away from that. So it ain't going to stop entirely. But I think it's value to get at least ask these people to come and speak to us and ask the relative questions and see how they answer you. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I'd like to make an informed decision. They've asked for us to officially endorse the quote forestry as solution campaign, but I don't know enough about it.
Well, we're not endorsing it. We're just asking to come as a delegation.
Any other discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? And the motion carries with one up. Councillor Schweinbans and Councillor Patchett, further business.
The last one, in regards to the page 17, the letter, the request from Mr. Haydes.
Yes,
I would suggest that this be put on forward to our financial officer to go add it to the grants and aids group. I think this is where this should be dealt with. I think the grants and aid is open to the 31st of March, I believe.
Yeah,
CFO
through your worship, that's correct. It is open until the 31st of March, and they are welcome to apply through that for sure. If council wanted to go a different direction for sponsorship, that can be done outside of that. But
can we encourage them to apply if they're interested in village support, financial support? Then we can consider all these requests together at a future council meeting.
Yeah, that's it. That's where it should be.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I'm making that motion.
A motion from Councillor Faccio to have staff reach out to Stahelis to make sure they're aware of the deadlines for submitting applications or requests for the community funding stream. Motion by Councillor Faccio. I'll second that motion. It'd be nice to have them put in an application. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? No opposed, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Stephen Schultz. Yeah, I saw this and I also thought, Councillor Fascio, when I saw this, I said, hopefully the tourism office is aware of these things and with our office together, hopefully ways of raising awareness on various websites and other things.
Just quickly, Your Worship, one of the bullets that they've got there, we already donate towards that through the grant that we get tourism, Stahelis Days, which is the 13th and 14th of June this year. So we already take care of that.
Good. Any other business arising out of correspondence, Councillor Final?
Thank you, Mayor Talon. I just draw council's attention to page 21 and the two resolutions that the City of Abbotsford has sent to Lower Mainland LGA for consideration at the conference. I don't believe the request indicates any formal recognition of the support. I will be getting an update this week on the number of resolutions that have been submitted to be debated during the resolution session. So I would just encourage council to read through these resolutions and contact City of Abbotsford if they have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Vital. I did note with interest that expanding provincial sales tax to professional services, even ones secured by the village, and being taxed on that, I'm kind of surprised. Hopefully that's just a small oversight, because I don't believe the village pays, is that correct, CFO Schultz? We don't pay GST or provincial tax on other things, or does the village?
Yes, Your Worship, if PST is applicable, we will pay that, but GST we do get it back, rebate.
So the federal government rebates, okay, but not the province, I see.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting resolution on the floor, UBCM, I'm sure. Thank you for that clarification. Councillor Swineman.
Thank you, Mayor Talon. It's not, sorry, the page isn't annotated, but the letter from Prince George. They are drawing up a petition to the federal government in support of a couple of things that I'm interested in. And that is with regards to amending the Criminal Code of Canada, just to strengthen bail conditions and requirements, automatic detention, and appoint more judges, crown prosecutors, paralegals. Mayor Talon, if you go around any community of any size in British Columbia, you see the crime on the streets, you see the repeat offenders, you see an awful Scrooge of drugs and other issues going on. And the judicial department is just not looking after these things in an efficient way. And I think any way that the federal government can support this and appoint more judges and give everybody on board with improving the situation, I think would be helpful. So I would be in favor, and I would move that our village support the petition outlined by the City of Prince George.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Schweinman, seconded by Councillor Thatcher. I'm looking at the letter, and it asks to share the petition within your communities. And then I think that if I read the letter correctly, has this petition already gone to the Commons already? through MP Viz, corporate office?
Thank you. It's open until March 27th, so it's online.
Okay,
I think I'm not sure if you can sign it as a organization,
or if it's for petition.
individual. Yeah.
Well, then I don't, not knowing if we can support this, I think we can put in our minutes that we perhaps support this and make it known that this petition is available for councillors to endorse.
Yes, and.
Yeah, Councillor Vile, help me.
And also perhaps send out some encouragement that our residents view the petition and sign it if they so wish.
Okay,
Perhaps Mayor Talon, maybe we write a letter to our local MP and express our support as council for Prince George's petition.
we can do that. Any other discussion on the motion? We want to amend the motion to, instead of, I don't think we can sign the petition as it's written right now, but we could write our MP indicating that this was favorably received and we support Prince George's advocacy for stronger public safety measures
Yeah,
pursuant to their petition.
I'd be fine with changing the wording of that motion.
Thanks. Amend the motion accordingly. So motion to amend the motion to send a letter to our MP, et cetera.
So
Moved by Councilor Faccio, seconded by Councilor Faccio. Any discussion on the motion to amend the motion? I'll call the vote. All in favor. So we have an amended motion. Any further discussion on the amended motion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor of the amended motion. That carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other business arising out of correspondence this evening? That covers everything that I wanted to speak to as well. This takes us to item 12 on the agenda, reports from councillors. Who would like to start us off this evening? Councillor Faccio?
Thank you, Worship. Yes, I had the pleasure of attending the, when was it, Mickey, last Saturday? The fourth Follow Your Heart concert and silent auction, and most of us probably already know that the fire department donated $10,000 towards that wonderful cause, and I think a total of 21,000 was raised through the donations and silent auction. It was a very good turnout and a great job done by Todd Richard, his group, and all the volunteers and donors and sponsors that helped to raise that money. Wonderful evening. The 4th of March, I chaired the Accessibility Committee, and some of the discussions that I see that already been done is the disability push buttons on the doors. I see we've got a couple on our door here. I think that we're doing the washrooms in Spring Park and our main washrooms on that portion. And they're researching for a beach disability chair that you can push on the, on the sand and everything. Still looking at Moby mats or boardwalks. They're still research. The staff is still researching that because of the costs. So that's and also a report came out. There will be, I think, a few more disability parking stalls that will be allocated as well for downtown there. That's that. And at the regional district on March the 12th, that's the Regional Corporate Services Committee meeting. Yes, one of the bylaws that had third reading and adoption was that they will be changing from the 6 p.m. This is only the board meeting, not the morning meeting, right, which I'm speaking about. But the board meeting is going to go from 6 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. There's some 20
Did you say that again, Counselor? 6 PM to 1:30 PM?
Yeah, we meet now at 6 PM in the evening, the board,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be changed to 1:30.
Oh, okay, no, because that's a really long meeting.
Yeah, no,
Okay, I understand.
There's some 25 regional districts in the province, with 52% of regional districts scheduling meeting start times in the morning. Some even meet from 8:30 to 12:30 in the morning. So that's going to be a change, which I'm looking forward to. So that gives the staff that saving all those hours they have to put up with in the evenings. And when you have 22 directors out there, that's a lot of questions and for the staff to deal with. So that's going forward. And on the regional planning lab series, I think this is our staff may have heard about this. Spring of 2020 planning lab. Urban Strategies will deliver the first planning lab on April 20th, 2026. The event will be held in Chilliwack at the Health Centre. That's one on Evans, I believe, and will include a catered lunch. Seating will be offered at no cost to participants up to 85. The lab focuses on the challenges of increasing the supply of affordable housing within the current market economic conditions, as well as opportunities in mid-high density prefabricated and modular housing, which is a significant priority for both the provincial and federal governments. The effort will include a keynote presentation, panel discussion. And I would suggest that this will be something for our CEO to have one of his staff attend this when that comes forward. It will be appropriate. And the last one is for BC Transit. And as you may be aware, the province of British Columbia tabled its 2026-27 budget last week. But in BC Transit, an operating budget of $457.4 million, 195 in provincial funding for the coming fiscal year. The budget reflects the economic environment which will require BC Transit to continue focusing on achieving efficiencies throughout. Now, unfortunately, we recognize a strong desire for many local governments to expand service to meet their growing needs. While the 2026-27 operating budget will not provide the opportunity for service expansion, it will enable BC Transit and our partners to continue delivering safe and reliable service. So that's the bad news. But we will keep lobbying at the regional district and try and improve the transit. Because I know one of the transits that Harrison would like, from what I've heard from council and residents, is for Sunday, Councillor Vital?
I'm sorry.
The Sunday traffic, isn't it? Yeah, Sunday routes, yeah. Thank you, that's my report.
Thank you, Councillor. Disappointing, it's a hold the line on BC Transit and that mission to Agassiz.
That's all, yeah, that's all on.
All on hold.
Yep.
It's disappointing. Thank you, Councillor Patrick.
Yeah, thank you.
Councillor Vital.
Thank you, Mayor Talon. Just a couple of updates for me. I also had the pleasure of attending the Follow Your Heart benefit for Variety. Close to my heart. I have a son who certainly took advantage of the services that Variety offered years and years ago, and certainly a shout out to our fire department with their donation of $10,000. And also I wanted to put a shout out to Councillor Facio for his winning bid on the beautiful cribbage board. That was quite interesting, the auction that went back and forth, but thank you, Councillor Facio.
Which is going to the social club.
Nice.
March 4th, I attended the Citizens Advisory Committee at Mountain Institution. And I thought I would just give a brief overview of what this committee actually does. So we meet once a month, and we meet with the inmate wellness committee for the first hour to bring forth any concerns that they may have. And then following that, we meet with the senior management at the institution, and they provide an update, and also we present the concerns that the inmate wellness committee that we discussed. The total number of inmates right now is 419, and that is pretty much at capacity. There had been discussion even in the previous meeting that the indication would be that perhaps due to budget cuts, the library would need to close. However, on a good note, is what came down from the federal government is that the libraries will stay open. It's the librarian positions that are being eliminated. So it is now up to both Mountain Institution and Kent Institution to find alternate means in order to have a librarian, and perhaps reaching out to the communities to see if there is any librarians that would be interested in doing it on a volunteer basis. Change of seasons is this week, March 18th, which is also put on by the Inmate Wellness Committee and Citizens Advisory Committee is always welcome to attend, and a meal is served, and there is some ceremony surrounding it by the Indigenous inmates also. And that is my report. Thank you.
Councillor Schweinmans?
Oh, sure. Thank you, Mayor Talon. I don't have a long report at all. I've attended an environmental committee meeting last week, and just a shameless plug. Remember, everybody, we're doing Earth Day in May again on the first Saturday of May, and there'll be more information coming about that. I also attended a Agassiz Harrison Historical Society, but no news came from that. But Mayor Talon, I just wanted to give a shout out to a couple of organizations in our community. And that first one is the Fire Hall. Last Wednesday after trivia night at the pub, my wife and I got locked out of our house here because of the wind and the power and all that. And the power was out all night, as we all know. But our fire department members were busy clearing streets, directing traffic, clearing down power lines. So I just shout out to the fire department here in Harrison Hot Springs for helping out our community. And also shout out to the staff here and the field staff for clearing the streets so quickly. The trail along the Miami River was closed for a couple of days, but I walked it a couple of days ago, and some huge trees came down and some huge branches had to be cleared. And our staff, and including a huge tree on our parking lot here, which turned out to be rotten in the middle. So I fear for the other one that we're looking at right now. So kudos to staff for doing that, and to, I think it was Scott's tree clearing for cleaning that out so quickly in the morning. Did I hit everybody? I think I did. So anyway, shout outs to everybody for getting us cleared up after that storm. That's obviously we're a village that's is working well. So thank you.
Yeah, with these storms that hit the village, our staff and fire department are, keep us all safe, and appreciate it as well.
Yeah.
Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Your Worship. The regional library attended that, and the good thing about that is the contract is settled and signed and sealed for the next 4 years, so we have happy days there. Attended Harrison Tourism. The 2026-going-forward plan is approved, and one of the things that I'm going to recommend, I'll talk to Tyson another time, is to have Tourism Harrison make a presentation to the council for all the plans that they put together for the coming year. It's really, really, really well done. And I think everybody would enjoy a little chat with them. I'd also like to thank Teresa Aldis, who
has resigned from our Community Blue Committee due to her own personal reasons, and we wish her all the best. She was a good committee person, and they're hard to replace, but that's something we'll have to consider. And last but not least, we still have our sale of seeds going on with 40% of the proceeds coming back to the village. So anybody that you know who might need seeds, right. We'll go from there. And that's my report. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councilor Jackson. Yeah, I've got the QR code here for the seed program. I think that's fantastic. Do we need a motion, Councilor Jackson, to invite Tourism Harrison to make a presentation on the tourism?
Yes, I
the
think
long range?
yes. I'll make that motion.
We'll make that motion to invite
Yes.
them to the future meeting, seconded by Councilor Swinlands. Any discussion on that motion? Councilor Swinlands.
Would you envision doing it in a committee of the whole so that we can have a fulsome discussion on this?
The committee of the whole, Your Worship, it would be better.
Would it be better?
Yeah, it would be.
I think I'd get more out of it that way.
Great, that's council meeting, that's open. Any other discussion on that motion? I'll call the vote, all in favor, and we'll invite them to a future meeting, committee of the whole. Good conversation. Thank you. Report from Mayor, fairly brief. March 5th, I had a Resort Community Collaborative Mayor's meeting. We have this once a month, and yeah, a theme came out of this meeting that's I think worth mentioning. A lot of the resort communities sort of wrestling with the MRDT and the Resource Municipal Infrastructure Funding and the restrictions put on it and how it can be used, and looking for more flexibility. I think that might be part of the solution. I also think that some of the infrastructure things we would like to pursue far exceed the resources we get from that program. So I think I know the mayors are talking about it more. It'll probably come up for UBCM. We'll try and pitch something, but certainly some, not I don't want to call it frustrations, but there's certainly limits on the program, and desires to, enhance tourism and have that instant return productivity and for tourism, but very limited and lots of strings on how the resources get used. And every resort community is a little bit different scenario. Some use have the MRDT in addition to the RMI. Anyway, every community seems to be in a little bit of a unique situation and circumstances. But general themes are there's lots of restrictions on how the RMI money can be used, and like to relax some of those conditions, but also I think there's just some of the projects that would have a real meaningful impact exceed the budgets of many small communities. So communities smaller than Harrison could get very little money in comparison even to Harrison. So draw your attention to that. And I also had the opportunity to attend the Environment Committee meeting on March 11th. It's nice to see the committees, council committees, so active and contributing in such a positive way to the village, all of them, through accessibility, Communities in Bloom, Environment Committee, the Age Friendly. I'm probably forgetting a committee, and I apologize right now, but all very active and really, from my point of view, making really positive contributions. So I thank all those committee members and the chairs for keeping that going, and staff supporting it and keeping us on track. And that's all I have. So takes us to 15 reports from staff, and that's blank unless there's, yeah.
Section 14.
Oh, 14. 14 does come after 13. Thank you. Reports and minutes from committees and commissions. Can I have a motion to adopt the minutes? Moved by Councillor Beidel, seconded by Councillor Swinlands. Any discussion? Councillor Swinlands.
I do have a question, if you don't mind, and it's on, they're not paged again, on the accessibility committee. There's a couple of projects I was looking for updates on, if you don't mind, and that is the Moby mats and wooden walkways with rails at the near Maple and Chehalis. And you might have touched on it, Councillor Fasher, I'm not sure, but do we have an update from staff as to how that's going? Has there been any progress, and will there be before the summer?
Through the,
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
chair, if I may ask, corporate officer?
Oh, sure, thank you.
I know it's out, and if I read it, I think it's under active research, but maybe there's an update you can provide.
Sure, thank you. Through you to Councillor
Thank you.
Schwan-Benz. So this meeting is from October. As Councillor Facio mentioned, the Accessibility Committee did meet a little bit more recently. The ramps are planning to be repaved or repaired. They have a lot of cracks and holes in them that make it a challenge for people with mobility aids. So that's a project that's underway.
Sorry, before the summer, do you think? Or?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check with our director of operations on that. I know it's something that we've been discussing quite a bit. It's come up in October, so he's well aware of that. The other walkway with rails was discussed. It's quite expensive, and we're not sure what the design of the dike is going to be. That's the idea was to have that at Rendell Park. Right now, we decided to hold off on that, but we are looking at using the next round of accessibility grant funding to purchase more Moby mats instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, Mayor Talon, the other one is the crosswalk across Miami River that from the Ruth Annendorf Bridge to Walnut. Thank you. Sorry, Mayor Talon. Is there an update on that as well?
Corporate officer.
Thank you. Yeah. Through you to Councillor Schweinbenz. Yes, I believe that is a project that our Director of Operations has on the go for this year. So it would be finishing that sidewalk and then a crosswalk there as well. So looking at that right now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the motion? I don't see any. I'll call the vote. All in favor, and those minutes are adopted. 15 follows 14. Reports from staff. I don't think there are any tonight, which takes us to 16, which is bylaws. First one is the financial plan. Is this you, financial officer?
Yeah, Mayor Talon, we don't have a report, as it's just on for adoption tonight, but still here to answer any questions that arise.
Move for adoption. Your
Move the
motion.
recommendation, which is that the financial plan number 1237 2026 be adopted. Moved by Councillor Faccio, seconded by Councillor Vital. Any discussion on that motion? Councillor Flanagan.
Thank you, Mayor Talon. You know, if somebody is just tuning in for the first time into council, I just want to make sure that the public understand that, you know, there's many pages here of line by line items that we've gone through over line by line over the last couple of months, and our staff has provided the public a good opportunity, I think, for feedback, both online and in person. And I want to congratulate you for doing that, and I appreciate that. The way, you know, I'm not a big money guy, but I kind of look at it as if it's our house. You know, the reality is the groundskeeper wants a raise every year, the butler wants a raise every year, the roof is going to cost more, the snow plowing costs more, and we have to make sure that the driveway stays paved and the plumbing works, and at the same time we save for a roof. So that's kind of the way that I see things, if you will. And while I was over here, I kind of thought about an article that was in the paper this week, and that is with regards to the BC provincial deficit of $12.9 billion. And I just did a quick math. There's apparently just over 2 million. There's 2,041,000 households in British Columbia. So just this year's deficit is $6,320, just this year's deficit. So kudos to staff for making sure that we have a good budget happening and that we can look after our current needs at least. But if I could, Mayor Talon, question for the CFO, and I know we covered this last time, but there's some anxiety and some concern about our aging infrastructure. And I think in the next couple of months, we're going to be getting a good plan, maybe like a 10-year plan to replace and improve our infrastructure. Mayor Talon, perhaps I'm wondering how we are doing in terms of adding to our reserves and planning for this infrastructure improvement process in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Swimmers. Yeah, I know we've had 3 master plans, received those in the fall. And if I recall, our Director of Operations said he's working on or waiting for finalizing, whatever the right word is, master plans for the wastewater treatment plant and the water treatment plant. And then hopefully with all 5 master plans, we can review those and come up with a phased approach to responsibly and sustainably maintain village infrastructure. But CFO Schultz, a specific question I think was the reserves that we have and if we're able to contribute to those.
Through Mayor Tallon to Councillor Schweinbens. So in advance of the plans this year, us through council have increased contributions to both water and wastewater reserves, and also to the roads and sidewalks reserve, as well as the many other things we contributed to the reserves. So there's a fairly healthy contribution to all sorts of reserves this year. It'll be a bit better known once we get all the master plans in place where we need to fund these certain projects and when, and then we can have a good look if we need to continue increasing reserves. Obviously look for grant funding. That's going to be super important, and ultimately if a project's super important, we may need to look to borrow, but there's lots of different steps that come before that.
Thank you, Mayor Tallon. And what is the current state of our total reserves in place? I think you had a quote last week if it's in excess of $8 million. Is that right? And maybe a 2-part question. I think it's important for the public to realize that for every percentage of increase that we place on taxation, it's only about $35,000 going towards things like the budget and infrastructure. So I think you've struck a good balance in terms of raising taxes and at the same time making sure that we look after our infrastructure. So 2 questions. What is our current reserve like, and can we accelerate that in the future so that we can look after our infrastructure needs?
Through Councillor Schweinbens, our total reserve balances right now is about 9 million, and that's a combination of all the different reserves we have. Some are statutory, which are mandatory through the province, and some are council driven. So we have about $9 million sitting there, and obviously the more contributions, the better. That's it was council's focus this year for the budget, which is appreciated. And I think, we just keep needing to focus on that each year. And hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I think so. It strikes me that, Mayor Tallon, sorry if I may, we brag sometimes that we're in the very lower percentile in terms of our mill rate for taxation in the province. And that's good, but we just have to make sure that we can look after fixing the roof and the plumbing of our house, so to speak, going forward. And I think you've struck at a good balance, but in the future, I think the public should probably be looking forward to looking after some of the infrastructure needs that we have. So future councils will wrestle with that after we get the reports. Thank you.
I recall council deciding to increase the water and sewer rates by 8% this year and 8% next year, if I get the years correct, 2025 and 2026, I think. And all that was in anticipation of trying to build reserves a little bit more and have a bit more of a cushion. And the water and sewer program, as I understand, it's been explained to me, it's supposed to be self-financing. So that's separate from the mill rate taxes. So it's a complicated municipal finance, a complicated thing. I think we're in very good hands with our CFO. And I think the decisions we made last year are good ones and prudent ones, and builds a bit of a cushion. And when we get the next 2 master plans and we look at the totality of it, and we get some advice from staff and our experts advising us on this, we can prioritize and hopefully come up with a phased approach to address any deficiencies in a responsible, sustainable way financially for the whole village. Yeah, important stuff. Any other discussion on the motion? Councillor.
Just a quick thank you to the CFO, the staff, another outstanding job in preparing the budget. And one thing that many councils, including this one, can be very proud of is the way that we've looked after the finances, the reserves that we had, the way we looked after the whole village as a whole, and the the way that we're maintaining our financial side of the village. It's an outstanding job from our CFO and the staff. Thank you very much.
Well said, Councillor Patrick. Any other discussion on the motion? If not, I'll call the vote. All in favor? And our financial plan is adopted. Scott. The B item, traffic amendment bylaw 1241/2026 corporate officer.
Thank you.
Refresh our
Mayor.
memories on this.
Yeah.
What was the recommendation?
You bet. Thank you, Mayor Callan. Again, similar situation. There's no report associated with this as it was given first 3 readings at the last council meeting. Just as a refresher, this was an amendment that came about as a result of the new paid parking bylaws. So there were some housekeeping items that needed to take place within the highway and traffic bylaw. And so the recommendation is that highway and traffic amendment bylaw number 1241/2026 be adopted.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Jackson,
Second.
seconded by Councillor Schweinmans. Discussion to the motion. Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor of the motion, and that is adopted as well. Back to you, corporate officer, on item C.
Thank you. Recently, council has adopted several bylaws, including ones for paid parking, the boat launch, fire services, and then, of course, the bylaw that was just adopted. As a result, the offense table for the bylaw notice enforcement bylaw, which sets out the fine amounts for all of the village's regulatory bylaws, needed an update. In addition to these newly adopted bylaws, which have been incorporated into the attached updated schedule, there were also some existing offenses within the current highway and traffic bylaw, as well as the zoning bylaw, for which fines were not set out, which makes it a bit of an enforcement challenge. So the amended bylaw also incorporates some fines for sections that we noticed were not included in the offense table. Another amendment is compliance agreements. So compliance agreements are agreements that the village can enter into with someone who has been issued a bylaw enforcement notice in order to achieve compliance. And typically what they'll do is they'll set out the tasks that need to be done in order to bring that person into compliance by a certain time, and then in exchange, the village will offer a reduced fine. We have every mechanism for that existing in the bylaw notice enforcement bylaw, except for the ability to a method to calculate the reduction in the fine. So what you'll see there is language that indicates that the fine for a compliance agreement, if you enter into one, is bless you, is reduced by half of the amount that's listed in column A1. So those are an important enforcement tool that's already somewhat allowed for within the bylaw, but we needed a method of calculating the amount. And so the first recommendation is that bylaw notice enforcement amendment bylaw number 1242/2026 be introduced and given first reading.
I move first
Moved
reading.
by Councillor Vital, seconded by Councillor Jackson. Thank you. And continue, please. Oh, we got to vote. I always forget that part on the first reading. All in favor of first reading? And that carries. Any opposed? I see.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm sorry, this is 1242 we're talking about now?
Yes.
42. Okay, I just, there's a lot of pages on this one.
That motion carries. Next, second reading.
Yeah,
We'll
the
take it
second
one at a
motion's
time
great.
in case we have changes or questions.
Sure.
Before we go to the third.
So the second recommendation is that bylaw notice enforcement amendment bylaw number 1242/2026 be given second reading.
So moved, Your Worship.
Moved by Councillor Patrick, seconded by Councillor Vital. Discussion on that. Councillor Patrick.
Yeah, just a couple of quick questions here. Does on 27, this is highway and traffic bylaw number 974, 27P, does the highway relate to village streets? It does, fair enough, thank you. And the sign that we have presently at the back of Memorial Hall on Lillooet, it says only for events. That is a bit restrictive when there's not an event every day or every weekend. I'm not sure. That really takes a lot of parking space away in the summer months. So I don't think that should be, that sign is necessary there. We used to have I believe when there is an event, they put up the posts with the whatever, the coloured, whatever it's called, so to me, it really is very restrictive. So if you pay attention, I mean, I park there, and I suppose if I did it now, I would get a ticket. That's why I look at it. So I think staff should maybe look at that, and I mean, I'll leave it to staff. I'm not.
This is an operational matter
Yes,
as opposed to something in the in the bylaws.
Yeah, it's just here in the bylaw on number park. Where is it? Occupy. Where is it? Oh, park in village facility store without attending a village facility. That's what I'm referring to. Yeah. That's all bylaw 974.
Right.
Thank you. That's all.
27X.
That's 27X, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crutchfield. Any other discussion on the motion, Councillor Schweinman?
Thank you, Mayor Talon. I wish I could refer to a page, but I can't for everybody. Okay, on your table, I'm on the new table with the red column with the compliance agreements available. I have two questions. First one is under sewage regulation bylaw 980. 980 sewer section 32G specifically, discharge of stormwater, surface water, groundwater, roof runoff, surface drainage, or any water from air conditioning system into the sewage system. So this is with regards to, we've talked about this from an engineering technical point of view, and that is the IG&G, or infiltration and
Inundation.
Anyways, thank you.
Inundation.
My brain's somewhere else today, I think. And I noticed that there's some really heavy duty fines, and I'm appreciative of that for some properties who are not complying despite the encouragement of our bylaws. So I guess maybe question here, how are we doing from a bylaw perspective? Are we finding people on this, and or are we gaining more compliance agreements from these folks? I know that Jessica's not here. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I can speak to that. Well, actually, I'll let you speak to it because you've been.
It doesn't matter. Do you want to speak to it? You can.
No,
Yeah, this is a really important issue, I think, going forward for our infrastructure. Before we're able to invest completely in it. So sorry, go ahead.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you through you to Councillor Schweinbutz. Yeah, so we've been meeting as a team with our bylaw enforcement officer and our utility supervisor, director of operations, to come up with a plan to address the I&I matter. We haven't issued any fines under that bylaw to date. They're expensive because the issues that they can create can be quite expensive to repair. So the idea behind the higher fine is to really encourage and incentivize compliance with the bylaw. Now, having said that, we have some properties that were previously identified as potentially having issues with their drainage going to the wrong place. So we have reached out to those places. We have received quite a few responses, and generally people are very responsive and they want to fix it. They just weren't aware. So that's the approach that we've been taking for this first round. We'll be working, the second phase, we'll be identifying and doing some, they call it smoke test, doing some testing to locate more areas and properties that have runoff going into the sewer system. And then again, same type of communication where we really want to achieve that voluntary compliance. The fines are there in case people knowingly refuse to comply.
Thank you. But I'm wondering if, like, there are some properties, commercial properties with trailers on them, perhaps, or hotels that we know are real significant contributors to the volume of this issue. Is there more legal action that we can take, sort of a force majeure, something that can compel property owners to really clean up their infiltration problem?
I'm not sure. Is this a fact that there's?
Well, we've identified
hotels
5 or
that
6
are-
properties, and I shouldn't say hotels, but
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are. They were identified already. I don't think it's a secret.
I think there's. I think the director, I think they suspect where it's coming from, but I think actually confirming it, I think that's why we had encouraged or supported the monitoring for runoff to start identifying with more certainty. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure that's 100% certain, but corporate officer.
Sure, thank you through you to
Yeah.
Councillor Schweinbenz. Yeah, there are some commercial properties that have been identified in the first round,
Yeah.
and we're working with them to achieve compliance. And as with any bylaw, if we continue not to see non-compliance, we'll have to take further enforcement action, whether that is issuing fines and then proceeding, whether it's legal proceedings or notices on title or things of that nature. There are extra steps you can take, but right now we're just trying to work with property owners to identify the areas and come up with a plan to address them.
Yeah, I'm glad we're focusing on education now, but at some point I would be concerned that if the November rains start again in November or October, and these property owners have not improved the situation, then I think we need to take legal action, or the full weight of these fines per event, I think should be placed on them, in my opinion. Thank you. The other question I had is with regards to waste collection and disposal bylaw 1172. And again, I don't have a page for you, but they're all like section 3 and section 4. Okay. This council adopted a wildlife friendly time, and I don't see a fine associated with that or this indicated here. And Mayor Talon, I'm just wondering if we just missed that, or is it something we can add through motion? Thank you.
I think the answer is 3D, but corporate officer.
You got it. Yeah.
It's 3D.
Yeah.
That is the fine.
Oh, wonder. Okay.
The time isn't specified. This is just the fine, and it refers back to the clause in the bylaw, which would indicate the times no earlier than 5 when they have to be.
Thank you for clarifying.
Good question. Yeah, this is I can see this is actually really handy, and I kind of only maybe have a sense of appreciating how much work this was to pull all the fines into a single document. But I find it really helpful, and thank you to staff. I think corporate officer probably did a lot of the heavy lifting on this. Pull this all together because it's easy to compare instead of flipping through dozens of bylaws.
Thank you.
Any other comments on the motion? If not, I'll call the vote. All in favor, and that receives second reading, which takes us to, would it be third reading, corporate officer? Motion to the effect to give bylaw 1242 2026 third reading. Moved by Councilor Vital, seconded by Councilor Faccio. Discussion on that? Councilor Schweinberg.
Sorry, just to confirm, that's not final reading. It'll go to the public, I think, for comment. Is that right after third reading, or do we need a public notification or hearing on this?
Thank you. Through you to Councillor Schweinbenz. So public hearings are only for certain zoning applications, land developments. This bylaw, the only requirement now is one clear day between third reading and adoption. So this will be up on the next meeting for adoption.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion on the motion? If not, I'll call the vote. All in favor, and that receives third reading. Thank you. No new business, as I recall from earlier in our meeting. Any notices on the motion this evening to be tabled? I see none. Item 19 is questions from the public who may be in the gallery or participating remotely online. Anyone have a question for council this evening?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, John Allen, 398 Hot Springs Road. I'm delighted to see that the Accessibility Committee is raising the issue of the crosswalk that needs to be installed on Miami River Drive at the end of Walnut. Well, I wanted to ask if council was aware that 43 years ago, when we developed the plan for what we then called the Wask subdivision, we clearly stated that there should be a sidewalk all the way from the school along the south side of Walnut to Miami River Drive, a formal crosswalk at that point across to the opening, which would lead eventually to a footbridge to Naismith. And we have achieved the footbridge, but we haven't achieved that sidewalk. And even during Kingma's development of the Harrisburg project, we tried to get him to build the sidewalk on the south side all the way to Walnut. And he declined to do so, but he did give us, I think, a $7,000 grant, or supposed to have given us a $7,000 donation towards the cost of that sidewalk. So if you look at the school as the nexus of an off-street transportation hub, that is a critical link that hasn't been built in the 43 years that has been promised. And it should be not just a zebra crossing or a crosswalk on Miami River Drive, but it needs to have a proper sidewalk built all the way from the school to Miami River Drive. And that's been in the plan for many, many years. It seems to have disappeared or lapsed, but it's critical if we're going to get the kids to go from the east side of the village to the school in a safe manner, out of the traffic and on a proper sidewalk. That needs to happen. I don't see it in any of the current plans. I don't see it in the budget. And I think that it really should be brought up as a priority, because if you're talking about safe transportation, it's not just the kids, it's many seniors walking. And the whole Wask subdivision in this area was developed with no sidewalks for economy measures, but there's one that is really needed because you want to get the kids out of the traffic and onto a proper sidewalk. So I'm just asking if council wouldn't mind researching the history of that and making that a priority for the operations. I understand from tonight's discussion that the operations manager may be working on something there. And I have to say I was disappointed with the work that was done on that stretch in front of the schoolyard last year, because it didn't seem to encompass a really good drop-off and pickup zone for buses and parents and grandparents in that area. And that traffic needs to be managed, and it's not being managed at the moment. So anyway, I'm just leaving that as a question. Would you please look into that and see about getting that critical link between the school and the Altendorf Bridge to the east sector installed? Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. I know staff's looking at a sidewalk on the north side and a crosswalk that would go to the footbridge, but that doesn't address what I understand to be your point about a crosswalk on the south. I've made note of it here, and I think it's something we can raise with the school board when we look at the civic campus project and the new school project, and see if there's opportunities there when if the new school is built and when that happens, to make sure students have proper access safely to the school, wherever that is. And that would also address the pickup and loading zones. So thank you for your comment, and we won't forget it. Is there anyone online participating remotely with a question tonight? Nope. No questions online?
Motion to adjourn, your worship.
Councillor Fascio moves item 20, motion to adjourn, seconded by Councillor Jackson. Discussion on the motion. Call the vote, all in favor, and we are adjourned.
Thank you.
By the way, Mr. Mayor,